Hello guys, and welcome to a quick tutorial about how to understand GSC. I am with Kana in voice chat, and Kana was interested about learning GSC. So I was thinking might as well stream it. See if it can help other people. So I will just go through the basics of the GSC and kinda like so you understand how it works. I do think you will need a little bit of developer knowledge, but you should be able to follow most of it, like the syntax and the quirks and everything. So, as I was saying, Kana, I will repeat at the beginning. In a GSC, you have two starting functions. You have the main function and the init function. They can be left empty like that, it's fine, it will compile. The main function is executed before the init function. So when you need to have specific stuff that needs to be applied instantly, you use the main function. Other than that, you use the init function. One thing that is quite important is the include. These two includes are the most used one because they allow the flag wait function to work. What this function does is it waits before that all players are connected and spawned, and that the black screen of the beginning has ended, and then it will run the code. So this is a very important function to remember with these includes. After that, you can call your own function. So I use a threaded function, tower defense FFOTD here, and at the end of it, it gets called, and now I have it defined here. And here you can do your stuff. So this script, the wall.gsc, is here to create invisible wall in order to shape the map, in order to block some areas, to block some areas off. Yeah, alright, so what we are doing here to create walls, invisible walls, we spawn an object. So in Call of Duty, you have to use script model. This is how you spawn an object. So you you spawn an object of type script model with the coordinates here. This is the origins of the wall. This is the X, Y, Z coordinates. So how do you access it? You would do wall1.origin. This wall1.origin contains this data, and the angles you have to set them. So we set them to 0, 0, 0 for the angle. So that's about it, and that is a very small script, to be honest. That's all it does. You see, all it does is it spawns walls. Create an object, define its angles, and then use the set model, which is a vanilla function. You don't need includes for this. You can use the prefab from the game. You can use what the game already used. So we can use a collision wall that is 108 by 108 and is 10 thick. And this is how you spawn invisible walls in GSC. We're gonna let the player set the divar. Instead of putting the walls at my self is for the current object, right? Yes. When you have self, you cannot use it there because this is a level thread. This is not a player thread. If I wanted to have a player thread, I would need to create the onPlayerConnect function, define it, infinite for. So here we wait for a player to connect, and it also gives us a variable. And now we can use this variable to call a new function. We can call the new function create TMP wall if we wanted to. And for each player that connects, whenever they connect, it will start the create TMP wall functions. So we remove it here. And now we can have access to the self variable because we linked the function with the player. So when we use self, it's like we use player. Do you understand that? It's just automatic, yes. You can also pass parameters if you wanted to. You could pass it as a parameter as well, but you don't need to because the GSC handles it. When you use self in the function, it links to how the function is called. It links to this object, which in this occurrence is a player. You can also do this for a zombie, you know. If you catch a zombie if you catch like a zombie entity, like a get zombie array, for example, you know, then you can also use this to call a function, you know, for that specific zombie. That's how it works. All right, perfect. So let's get back to our create TMP wall. So for now we will not use onPlayerConnect because we do not need this for this code. We will not set the divar because these divars we will set them in game. You will open the console and you will type set divar x or just x, and then you give it its coordinates. All right. So we're gonna have a for loop. Don't forget the tab. Oh, there we go. We want to create it one time. We don't want to create it multiple times. You don't need to break this loop because you want to edit the wall. This loop needs to stay because if it stops, then when you try to move it, it will not move because you stopped it. You need not to break it. You understand? This is your debug to create an invisible wall function. It will not be there in the final product, but it is there to assist you to place the walls. Okay, good, there we go. Do you understand this code so far, Kana? We create an object. We give it the basic default script model that Black Ops 2 requires. We use the spawn function, which is a vanilla function. It doesn't need dependencies, no includes. And then you give it the tree coordinates. So you give it, is it called a vector tree? I think yes. You give it the x coordinates, the y coordinates, the z coordinates. You use getDivar int because we are working with coordinates. We do not want text. We want to have numbers. This is why we use getDivar int. After that, we have a loop that will change the position of the object, of the invisible wall. It will change its position every 0.1 seconds. The thing is, when you define a divar, when you say, let's say x is worth 500, you do it one time, and it will be instantly refreshed. The position of the wall will be instantly refreshed in 0.1 second. Because you didn't change the divar in 0.1 seconds, you don't do it like 10 times per second. You do it only one time. This code will do nothing. The model here should be here as well. You don't want to set the model every 0.1 second. You set it one time and that's it. The only thing that you change is the origins and the angles. Okay, perfect. So where was I? So here's the final code. You call the create TMP wall in the init. You spawn an object. You give it the starting coordinates in 0, 0, 0. We can also control the angle. So we will use the same system of x, y, z, but we will do this for the angles. So we'll call it ax, ay, and az. And this will be the divar for the angles. Do you understand, Cannibal? Now you have 6 divars that you can work with when you start a game. You can play with the x, y, z, and you can play with the angle x, angle y, and angle z. This way it gives you full control about how you want to place the walls. And that's about it for the tutorial. Pretty fast, but I think 0, 0, it's better. It makes more sense. You just spawn a model, you add a wall to it, and then you will move its origin and its angles.